Has he latched yet? Are you exclusively breastfeeding? How much formula do you supplement with? How long do you plan to breastfeed? Hello, buongiorno, guten tag, konnichiwa, all those hello things. Kieran just went down for a nap. We did the play gym today. It was super cute because I think he's finally just now starting to like see things that are, not mom and dad's face and like taking notice of them. So I thought that was super cute, and we've been kind of using it the past couple of days, which has been really fun. I feel like it's been forever since I picked up the camera just because I took a few days off from vlogging, and I think Saturday, Sunday, I was in my craft room all day, both days. Like I am super sore just from like being on the floor and doing all the like squatting and everything and cutting things out. I need to get like a table so I can stand and cut things out. But yeah, Kameron pretty much took care of Kieran all weekend, and I got to do a bunch of stuff in my craft room and just sort of have some me time and some creativity time, which is really important for me, especially for my mental health and everything. And I feel so rejuvenated. And it was so sweet on Saturday, after I'd been in there pretty much all morning and a little bit of the afternoon. Kameron brought Kieran in to see me, and he was half asleep. And I went and I said, "Hi, baby." And he looked at me and he smiled, like the first like non-mistakable smile that I've seen that hasn't been like a, like a gassy or a sleep smile. Oh my gosh, my heart just like, and he did it a couple of times. And I actually cried because it was just such a beautiful moment. Of course, he didn't do it the rest of the day or the rest of the weekend at all. But this morning, when he woke up, he was in a pretty good mood and he smiled at both of us about 3 times. And it was just, again, unmistakable. That was definitely a social smile. And we are just so, like I want to cry right now. He's going to be 6 weeks old on Tuesday this week. So I feel like that's pretty amazing. Smiling at 6 weeks old. Obviously, it's not like a regular occurrence, but just we're seeing the very beginnings of him actually smiling when he sees us. Trying to think of what else went on. Yeah, Kameron built our dresser finally. Here it is in all its glory. It is covered up by a gift that was sent to us by a subscriber. I don't want to say her name just in case she doesn't want me to publicly out her, but I love this quilt. It is gorgeous. And just the talent that goes into this. I could never do something like this. I don't know what it is, like needlework with yarn and quilting, those both escape me. I don't know. I've done a quilt before and it just like, I sucked at it, to be honest. I mean, I should probably just keep trying. Actually, I've done 2 quilts. One was a t-shirt, old t-shirts from when I was 15. But yeah, I wasn't very good at it. But this is just like, that is profoundly beautiful. Sometime I should actually just like take out a bunch of handmade items that some of y'all sent, just to go through and like kind of shine a spotlight on your amazing talents, because I'm just blown away by some of the incredible talent y'all have. I mean, I know how much love and work goes into making handmade items, so oh my gosh, just the fact that anyone would do that for us and for my son, and it's so sweet, and I would love to eventually have a video. You know what, maybe I'll do that at the end of this video. That's what I'm gonna do, because today's video is gonna be a short little Q&A, because I know a bunch of you had tons of questions in the comments, and then rather me individually answering a lot of the same questions, I figured I would just answer them in a Q&A. A lot of them are repeat questions, so it won't be that long. It's just like maybe a dozen questions at most. So I'll just go ahead and start answering them now. This question is one that I got probably about 5 or 6 times. What was the most unexpected thing about having a newborn that you weren't expecting? And you know, there were a lot of things that I was expecting, like lack of sleep, um, lots of diapers, lots of crying, stuff like that. But I was not expecting the amount of laundry that a newborn generates. Not just his own laundry, but like he spits up on the bed or he pees on the bed or like spits up on me. My shirts, I change my shirt like 3 times a day. You know, I've run out of shirts, especially since I'm a larger size now. I actually have to order some more t-shirts to wear because I guarantee I'll probably change my shirt before the end of this video. So yeah, definitely the amount of laundry that a newborn generates, I had zero idea that that was even a thing. I would say a close second, however, is the amount of poop songs that a mother can make up to try to encourage a baby to poop. You can poop if you want to and have the poopiest the pants. And if you don't poop, you're never gonna dance. You're gonna want some poopy pants. I'm not saying that I'm a singer, y'all. By the way, somebody told me that I'm a terrible singer on Instagram when I posted a little parody I made to a Sam Smith song, but whatever. Second question is, what's the hardest part of having a newborn and what's the easiest part? I think I'm probably speaking for a lot of mothers on this one, but I would have to say the lack of sleep is probably the hardest part. And then also just the transition from being able to, all right, let's go to the store, and you jump in the car and you go to the store. Transitioning from that sort of freedom to, all right, we have to plan, we have to pack a diaper bag, we have to make sure we have changes of clothing, we have to make sure we have enough diapers, we have to make sure there's, you know, something for him to eat, some pacifiers, some baby medicine. Has he eaten recently? Does he need a change? You know what I mean? Like, there's all of these factors that go into just going to Target now that is definitely not the hardest, but it's definitely a transition for sure. As far as the easiest thing about having a newborn, loving him. I mean, he's so easy to love. I mean, look at that little guy. Next question is, how do you and Kameron deal with nighttime baby duties like feeding and diapers and everything? So I pretty much take care of Kieran all day while Kameron's at work, and then as soon as Kameron comes home from work, which is usually anywhere from like 5 to 7, sometimes 8 o'clock. It really depends where he's working and his workload that day. But as soon as he gets home, it's like I'm off the clock in terms of feeding and diapering and everything. I still comfort Kieran, of course, when he needs it. But as far as those duties that kind of Kameron takes over when he gets home from work, and then he does everything up until 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. And then usually he doesn't get up again till 5, maybe 6. Like, he's been sleeping 3 to 4 hours stretches at night. So it used to be every couple of hours that he would be feeding. So there were several feeds during the night, but now it's like 2. So that's kind of how we approach it, because Kameron's a night owl. He'll stay up regularly until midnight to 1, 2 in the morning anyway, so it makes sense for him to take care of Kieran during that time. And I'm such an early bird. It's very normal for me to wake up at 5:30, so it makes sense for me to take over from there. Kameron is so thoughtful to give you your me time. How often does he take over so you can do that? So we've worked out this thing every weekend. I have mommy morning. Which means that I don't have any duties. I don't have to do anything. I pretty much get to go into another room and just do whatever I want to do and, you know, drink my coffee and, you know, do creative stuff. That's usually probably Saturdays, unless Kameron has to work from home on Saturdays. Then we'll kind of move it to Sunday. And then it's kind of cute, actually. We call it Father and Sunday. So it's like father and son, but Sunday, because that's the day that he definitely doesn't have to work. So that's kind of the day that they sort of that's their bonding day, where it's really just them, and I get to kind of do whatever, whether it's, housework, or if I want to work on my Etsy shop and do stuff in my craft room, just stuff to take care of myself and make sure that I am rejuvenated and that my mental health is in check. This is one that I got a lot, and I actually get this one all the time, so hopefully, I've definitely answered it more at length in other Q&As, but not about motherhood, but I was curious why we never see you drive. And that is because I never learned. I will probably be 36 years old by the time I learn how to drive and get a license. I know that's 20 years later than most people, but this is one that I get quite often. Does your family come help with Kieran, and do they live near you? And no, we are completely alone in California. We have a lot of friends that live nearby. I have a lot of rescue colleagues that are just a couple miles away. So, if I ever need someone to take care of the cats when we're out of town or something, they can come over. But we do not have family in California. Cameron's family is in the South, like in Texas and Louisiana, and my family's up in the Pacific Northwest. They're in Colorado, they're in Utah. So all of our families several thousands of miles away. I actually thought this was such a good question. Do you have any rules for when family visits, i.e. masks and hand washing? So definitely the no masks. Like, I'm not going to make someone mask up. I would prefer that they don't come over if they're sick, or if they've been sick within the last, week or two. Other than that, our pediatrician recommended, because he's a month premature, just to wait until he's 12 weeks old to have family come visit. Obviously, outings to go to the store is fine as long as nobody's touching him. And just wait 12 weeks for any kind of hands-on visits. But as far as like rules for when family and friends visit, of course they can hold him, they can touch him. We don't want anyone kissing him, just because you don't know what you could be transmitting to a person who has a very, very immature immune system. Hand washing, of course, and if you touch your face or your mouth or your eyes or something, I would prefer you to wash your hands again, that sort of thing. The usual stuff that people do to try to mitigate transmission of viruses. The next question is, has Kieran healed your broken heart? That's a fantastic question. I would say he's definitely filled a space in my heart. He hasn't healed it, because I don't believe that having another child fixes losing one. In terms of like, if someone's wanting to know if I'm going to get over my daughter, I think the answer is no, and I'm probably never going to. I'm probably going to be sitting there 40 years from now in my 70s, and I'm going to, have a moment where I think of her and I cry. I know that that's just how it is, and it's going to be like that, and grief's just a very personal thing that I don't think someone just gets over. Here's a palate cleanser. This one's actually really good. What are the weirdest comments you've ever gotten on YouTube? Oh boy. Let me just pull out the filing cabinet. Okay, because you asked weirdest and didn't specify whether or not it was hate comments, I'm just gonna go with weirdest. Some of them might be a little bit hateful, but not horrible like some people's comments. I think I've talked about this one before, which I think is the one that takes the cake. Somebody saw that I had audition tapes on this channel like long before I started vlogging, and they're like, "She's an actress! Don't be fooled! Don't believe everything you see! You're being duped!" Look her up, she's on IMDb. And I've said it before, but the amount of work that goes into making a fake vlog channel, like, oh my gosh, that would cost way too much money. The fake hospital alone would be Gosh, not worth it. Trying to think of, oh, right. Another weird one was somebody said they were going to call CPS on me because I have so many cats. This was when I was not pregnant or had a living child. So on whose behalf are they calling CPS? I'm trying to think of any weird ones that were more recent. I would have to say probably the person that said, I feel so bad for your son because you only dress him in orange. Why don't you ever put him in something normal? Well, I mean, what's normal? I mean, I thought I see orange everywhere. If I just look out my window right now, there's a lot of orange flowers. And I didn't know he was going to be premature. So a lot of the stuff that he got as far as like newborn size, because I assumed he was going to be a macrosomic baby when he was born and only got 0 to 3. And so I needed some newborn stuff, and it just so happened that the things that people sent me were orange because they know that I like orange. So that's how I got so much orange stuff. But I mean, he wears blue and gray and white, and yeah, he has tons of stuff. He has a bunch of burgundy stuff for fall. I can't wait to put him in. Question is one that I have gotten, I swear to you, probably 100 times. So that's one that would take forever to answer individually. So here it is. Hopefully this answers all your breastfeeding questions. Has he latched yet? Are you exclusively breastfeeding? How much formula do you supplement with? How long do you plan to breastfeed? And then, multiples of those questions, of course. I wasn't sure how long I wanted to breastfeed. I know that I wanted to, of course, to, help with the antibodies and stuff when he was born, which I was very grateful that I did. But I actually decided to stop. Cue the angry mob. Just kidding. Well, sort of. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of angry comments. I decided to stop breastfeeding and pumping and all of that, and just lactating in general, because I really needed to get back on my medication. I stopped taking my ADHD medication in the fall of 2020. And it is the fall of 2022. I have not had my meds for 2 years. I have been depressed for quite some time because I haven't had my meds and I haven't been able to just be normal, whatever normal is. Long story short, my brain does not concentrate the neurotransmitter dopamine, which causes the ADHD symptoms. So I need to take something that inhibits the reuptake of dopamine. And that can be an NDRI, a norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitor, or it can be something like Adderall or Ritalin. And these are medications that I do not want to take and then breastfeed my son, The lack of sleep and the symptoms that come along with the lack of sleep and just, that piled on with my ADHD symptoms was making it 10 times worse and, 10 times harder for me to function. And I made the decision that my mental health was a lot more important than breast milk. I've said it before and I'll say it again that I think that fed is best. Doesn't matter how you're feeding and nourishing your child, as long as they're, happy and fed and they're gaining weight and they're healthy, then that's fine. I mean, Kameron and I were both raised on formula. I was raised on vegan formula because I had a milk allergy. We're fine. I think that society loves to shame mothers, and I'm not sure why. I just know that personally for me, I really wanted to be, I just wanted the relief of being on my meds, and I've been on my meds for about a week now, and I gotta say, it has transformed everything. I mean, it was the first time the other day that I looked at the sunset and I actually noticed it and thought, wow, that's beautiful. It'd been so long since I noticed something like just the sunset, So I I think that's really important. I think that a lot of people don't talk about the mental health aspects of lactation and you know how much work goes into it. And like, golly, I had to eat so much just to have a decent supply because I can't eat sugar. So a lot of the suggestions of, like, you know, carbing up is detrimental to my health. So I had to eat a lot. Like, oh my gosh, I had to eat like 1 pound steaks, and I just started gaining and gaining all this weight, and my sleep apnea was getting worse, and it was just, you know, it was coming to a head, and I just felt like I really gotta make sure I'm okay first, because I wasn't okay, you know? Just my postpartum health wasn't okay, and my mental health was starting to go down the toilet. I wouldn't say it was necessarily postpartum depression, but it was definitely heading there. And I think it was just, you know, exacerbated by not being medicated for my ADHD. But yeah, it was like a light switch went off when I started taking my meds again. And like, stuff makes sense again. If I could describe ADHD, I know this is, I'm going so long on this explanation when I said long story short. Having ADHD is like having all your thoughts exploding like fireworks in your brain. And every single twinkle is one of your thoughts, and it's just everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And it's exploding fast, fast, fast. And you just like, you know, you can hear every sound. You notice things that people don't notice. And it's just, everything's like grabbing your attention. And then when you're on medication, it slows everything down and sort of like files it in line and makes it so you can get to each task and each thought and focus the right amount of energy on each thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm well aware that I'm probably gonna get a fuck ton of hate comments because I made the choice to take care of myself first. But you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna tell you that if you're like me and you needed to stop and you needed to exclusively formula feed, I support you 100%. I will never judge you, and you got to do what's best for you sometimes. And I fully believe that your mental health is paramount to having a happy, healthy family. Okay, that was way too long of an answer. Last question. Do you still want to have 2 to 3 more children, and when do you think you'll be trying to conceive again? I would love to have as many children as we can. Like I said, I'm gonna be 36 in 6 months, so I don't know exactly how much time we have left. I know my mother had me when she was almost 40, so, and one of my friends, her mother had her younger sister when she was 43, so, you know, I know it's possible to go later. I would prefer to get it over with in my 30s if I could, just because pregnancy's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard on my bones, and I carry big ones, so I just want to get it done as soon as possible. So if we could get 2 more, that would be amazing. Even if we have just 1 more, that would be a miracle to me. If we had 3 more, I mean, I don't know if I could even mentally handle 4 children, so we'll see. But 3 sounds like a good number to me, you know? Okay, he's fine. And as far as when we plan to try to conceive again, I know that we want to do it relatively soon. Not, you know, soon, but probably when he's a year old, maybe a little after a year old. I know that I don't want to have another summer while pregnant. Not a Southern California summer pregnancy. I think it would be nice to get the bulk of my pregnancy over in the cold months. That'd be nice. Yeah. So probably next summer, I would say, is when we'll try to conceive again. Okay, I said that was gonna be quick, and that was totally not quick. Let's look at the things that y'all made with your hands. This is a quilt that someone made for us, and I actually made one of his sleep sacks with this material, so it's cool. It kind of has, you know, a matching theme. This rainbow blanket was knitted by a good friend of mine, and oh my gosh, it's super soft and it's just so pretty. I love it. And then Amazing Woman knitted these. Like, I am just blown away by the talent here. A little sweater and this cute little matching hat. And then here's another little orange sweater and then like a little fox hat to match. I just thought, like, this is seriously insanely talented. And then the same person knitted this little gray hat and sweater set, which is like preemie sized, and he wore it a lot when he first came home. Well, my phone died and then he was hungry, so I don't know exactly where I left off, but I think I showed all of the little sweaters and blankets and everything that were handmade. I think that's gonna be it for this video. I think I'm gonna close the video by just making a simple request of, you know, please be supportive in the comment section, because there are a lot of people with a lot of different reasons for, you know, making the choices that they do, and you never know how hard it was for someone to make certain decisions for their lives and for their children. I know that there are a lot of strong opinions out there. I just ask that y'all be kind to each other in the comments and to be kind to me, and, you know, just in general, just be supportive of each other, because I feel like, you know, becoming a mother, if I could go back and answer one of the questions of things I was not expecting, is that I wasn't expecting the amount of shame, the amount of shaming that other mothers do to mothers. And I'm not sure what's gonna get people to stop doing that. I wish it was easy as saying don't shame other mothers, but yeah, I am rattling on rattling on way too long. But just so you know, if you had to make tough decisions for your family and for yourself, and, you know, maybe you grieved having to give up breastfeeding, or you grieved not having the supply that you thought you would, or, you know, you had to stop for physical health reasons or mental health reasons, just know that I support you 100%, and I would never ever judge you. And that's the energy I want to put into the world. So I will see you next time. Bye.